Okay, so what's up guys, it's Matters, and we're going to be going through some more information, even more confirmation of a Black Ops 4 this year. Every day we're getting new information and just new leaks and different sources coming out and saying that yes, this year's Call of Duty will in fact be Black Ops 4. So we're going to go through who has actually given us the information today, what that means, obviously what we're going to be seeing this week as well in the terms of any possible reveals and official confirmation from Activision, and really what this game is going to be all about, the multiplayer, the campaign, and the zombies, and really just let's talk about a quick overview of what we're going to be seeing with this game and what our timeline is until this game releases. So that being said, if you can leave a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe for more Black Ops 4 videos, and let's get started. So obviously the new source is in fact Eurogamer. I think usually when we see Eurogamer and outlets like these actually report on the new Call of Duty and actually have their own sources, giving them information regarding the new Call of Duty, that's when you know at this point it's pretty much set in stone. Marcus Sellers, no one really believed him at first. I think in general he seems like a pretty credible guy, Nintendo insider. He's talking about Black Ops 4, talking about being in modern times, boots on the ground, all plausible pieces of information there. And the only reason he really knows that is because he's in the Nintendo sector, and he's getting information that Black Ops 4 is also going to be on the Switch, which sort of he specializes in. So that was his sort of introduction into the Black Ops 4 arena there. But now Eurogamer giving this information gives us even more confirmation. And again, like I said, when big outlets like these chime in and actually have their input and have their own sources, that's when you know that okay, this is 100% legit at this point. There's nothing going crazy here. There's no crazy scheme behind this. It's gonna be Black Ops 4. I'm gonna leave a link to the article below. We're just gonna run through what they said quickly. Also, IGN commented as well on this. So at this point, when these big media outlets like this, these big sort of establishment gaming media outlets have their take on the new Call of Duty and have their take on the leaked information and stuff, that's when you know it's getting real. And we'll talk about that in a second. So first one here, Eurogamer sources say this year's game is Black Ops 4. Now they say this is a rumor, but think about in the zombies community, we go on Reddit and we see these different leaked posts and different pieces of code, and we look at that. To them, that is a far-fetched rumor. The leaked information that we talked about on a day-to-day basis, at least when there's DLCs, that's far-fetched. But this is such a solid rumor and such a pretty much confirmed rumor that it's not even a joke. Like, they don't understand when a big media establishment, gaming company and gaming website and gaming outlet talks about the new Call of Duty, that's that. It's just not gonna change. But this is basically what they said. So Call of Duty 2018 title, it's going to be Black Ops 4. They heard this information from multiple sources. Okay, we already know that. The Black Ops 4 rumor began with the Nintendo industry reporter. Let's see. The reporter also claimed that this year's game will be a modern themed game, boots on the ground. Obviously, same thing that Marcus said. Eurogamer did not elaborate on the setting of the game, and they said that they were not able to confirm if the game is coming to the Switch, which is a bit interesting because Marcus, obviously supports this idea, or I guess maybe knows that it's 100% coming to the Switch. So bit of a discrepancy there in the information that they're being given. Maybe Marcus knows even more than Eurogamer, which is pretty surprising, or I don't know. We'll have to see what the deal is there. So Eurogamer does not have information on that coming to the Switch, which is very important because we need to know not necessarily who to trust, but the different levels of information and what is actually going to occur. It's very important. We also have information here from IGN around the same style with different wording, and I'll leave a link to that as well. Call of Duty, 2018's Call of Duty is reportedly Black Ops 4, and Trek's next game to be more grounded. Black Ops generally. Black Ops 3, it wasn't that futuristic, and I don't think there was that much of a backlash from it. But I think after Black Ops 3 Treyarch, they went into development and they sort of realized that, okay, you know what, or at that point Activision probably told them to, because they went back into development, and right after Black Ops 3 I guess was Infinite Warfare. So I think they immediately saw that, okay, let's let's not go the same route. And even if Black Ops 4 was originally, like, the first year of development was originally, you know, meant to be sort of this exosuit based thing, they probably switched it right when they saw the initial release of Infinite Warfare, because at that point I don't think it worked out for them at all. And I think Activision especially told Treyarch, you are not doing this anymore. I think honestly, if I was Activision, I would have said the same thing. So that's the case there. I think it's pretty, you know, understandable that you know, it's going to be boots on the ground and just sort of a more grounded Black Ops game. Now, it's saying the same thing here. Multiple sources tell Eurogamer that this year's entry in Call of Duty series, you know, will be Black Ops 4. This game will reportedly dial back the sub-series sci-fi elements, instead opting for a more grounded feeling. Obviously, it's saying it's a response to Infinite Warfare's negative reception in 2016. Now, I think it doesn't worry me. Now, I don't know exactly, just like I said, I don't know how Treyarch's development cycle went. I don't know when that actual point was where they said, okay, this is not good, we need to change things, because Advanced Warfare released, and, you know, people didn't like the exosuits, but it was fairly accepted. Like, it didn't, Advanced Warfare didn't receive that much hate. And I mean, personally, I didn't think it was that bad of Call of Duty. I enjoyed Advanced Warfare. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy it, and I know that was like the craziest exosuits of them all. Like, that is the one where you literally were just shooting up into the air left and right and all this crazy stuff. But I don't think that's the point where it occurred. And obviously Black Ops 3, you know, was still in development, so they finished that off. Black Ops 3 released 2. You know, it's hard to tell if Black Ops 3 would have done bad, because it's such a good game and it's being made by such a good developer and such a good company, Treyarch. So even though Black Ops 3 had these boost jumps, you would have never really known that exosuits just weren't gonna last in Call of Duty. I feel like with Black Ops 3, if every game was like Black Ops 3 and they handled exosuits like Black Ops 3, then you'd pretty much be fine. So after Black Ops 3, Treyarch, obviously, they have to start developing the next Call of Duty. Immediately after Black Ops 3 releases, that's when their 3-year cycle begins. So even though they have DLCs coming out, they need to start, at least a separate section of the company, they need to start directly on Black Ops 4. So the beginning of Black Ops 4, I'm assuming, was still being, you know, intended for just this exosuit style game, or maybe this, you know, even a more futuristic style game, or something along the lines of that, where they're continuing some sort of this, you know, altered movement system other than the boots on the ground that we've been seeing. So a year into their development, you saw Infinite Warfare. No one, I mean, I think the community expected Infinite Warfare to flop. The community knew that Infinite Warfare wasn't going to do well, especially because of the space setting and all this insane stuff and how futuristic it looked, and, you know, and just so many different factors. But I think Activision didn't realize how bad Infinite Warfare would do, how poorly this game would perform. So at that point, you know, a year, probably over a year into Treyarch's development cycle, they realized that that is not the direction they're going. So unless Treyarch and Activision decided beforehand, which I don't see that happening because they didn't see how bad Infinite Warfare did, then they'll be fine. But I just don't like the fact that over a year into Treyarch's development cycle, Infinite Warfare released, they saw how bad it was, and then they said, okay, we're not doing this again. You know, I don't know how long it took for them to do that, and that's a big deal because it depends on, you know, how futuristic this game actually is, how modern it is. Maybe, you know, Black Ops 4 is going to be fairly modern, you know, fairly modern, futuristic-esque, maybe just a mix of the two, but just without exosuits, because they just had to take that out, or they just had to take that out of the plans or something like that. I don't really know what the deal is there. But again, when they got the information to not do that stuff and to make sure you're back on boots on the ground is very important, because it, you know, tells us how much time they had for the game and actually the track of the game as well. And I made this point in the other video. It's not that big of a deal if a game is modern or even futuristic. Like, Black Ops 2 was supposed to be a futuristic game, like I said, and you think about Black Ops 2, like, you don't think futuristic when you think Black Ops 2, but when the trailer came out, when the game was coming out, you saw the drones, you saw all these cool futuristic maps, and you know, everyone was like, oh my god, this is crazy. And you know, back then people were like, that's a futuristic game, and yeah, I actually got some sort of hate for it, I think initially at least, just how crazy it was. But obviously we understood that it's Black Ops 2, and you know, that was probably the best possible case you could have ever gotten for a future game at that point, which is, you know, it's pretty much modern, but it was fairly futuristic. So even if, again, the setting is slightly futuristic, there's some different technological advances that are in the game that, you know, are a bit, you know, crazy, but as long as it's generally boots on the ground, modern era, just similar looking to what you would see, sort of realistic looking. Doesn't have to be World War II. It doesn't have to be this old historical war, you know, Vietnam War, Korean War. Doesn't have to have this meaning behind it, all these gritty weapons. Like, that's cool and all, and that's what World War II is for. But it's Treyarch, and I think they have the ability to make, you know, a fairly modern game, maybe a slightly more futuristic, but also make it still just seem like a normal Call of Duty. Boots on the ground, just that's that. So again, we'll see what the deal is there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, more confirmation that we're receiving Black Ops 4, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.